all that horsepower, you gotta some way, somehow put it to the ground. To be honest with you, I think they're gonna start crushing cars again. Remember like in the 2000s when the Honda stuff was really up there?
Yeah.
People were drag racing. CHP was yanking cars and crushing them. So watch out for that, man. You know, takeovers, I look at it like a rowdy party, like in every intersection. Like it's kind of cool in a sense, but it's not cool because it's putting a bad light into the car community.
Yeah, it's broken on me. I rage, put it on OfferUp, you know. I've raged like.
And then I pulled up to the line, and I saw the guy just go ahead, send it, and I go out and just rip, dude. I'm flying, bro.
Yeah.
Third gear, flying, pulling the e-brake, smelling the smoke, like getting close to the wall. I'm gonna be running you guys' door down. If you're in front of, I don't care if you're a beginner, I don't care if you're a Pro 1 driver, I'm gonna be running it down, bro. That's just how I do. Shout out to that kid that has the dream. You know, don't give up, bro. Everything's gonna be fine.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Dare to Drive podcast. I am your host, Pete, and I just wanted to hop on here really quick to let you guys know that this is part 2 with Cisco. So if you haven't listened to part 1 just yet, go hop over there, go listen to that, and then come back over here. But anyways, hope you all enjoyed today's episode, and don't forget to Dare to Drive.
It's like with anything. You have those butterflies, right?
Yeah.
You don't know how the interview's gonna go. You don't know what we're gonna talk about.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then like after you start like really feeling comfortable and everything like that goes away. Same thing with driving. Like when everybody has butterflies. Put that to the side and start doing what you're there to do.
Yep.
That goes away. That goes away.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
it goes with anything too.
Yeah.
First day at a job, going to first car meet too. You have those butterflies.
Yeah, having butterflies is completely normal, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a stone. Like, I'm not hard. I'm not... No, I'm a regular human being. Just like everybody else. I deal with the same things everybody deals with. I'm 100% a regular guy. And I've been through the ringer. But the difference is execution, determination, and the hustle don't stop, you know? My goal is ultimately to, you know, drift on the world stage, have a mentorship program so kids have a better direction in this motorsports field. Doesn't matter, drag racing, drifting, or time attack. Like, there's things that you need to understand before you start a program. You have to understand you have to have, like, money. And if that means going to McDonald's and making that money, then so be it. Ain't no wrong with the hustle, you know?
Yep.
Ain't nothing wrong with the hustle.
Yeah, I mean, two, I'd say, like, ending topics that I would want to touch is, first one would be, like, I know you do all the fabrication, you have your own shop now here, too.
Right.
How'd you get into that? I mean, you mentioned, like, your uncle, you said, with the Corvette and everything when you were younger. Yeah,
and then when I got into drifting, obviously, I was very young. Fast forward to when I graduated high school, I actually got a job with Firestone Complete Auto Care.
Okay.
And got my AACs and brakes.
Oh, nice.
And then my dad he's like, come work for me. There's more money. It's cleaner. And we actually just bumped heads a lot when I went to go work for him. I got fired like 3 times, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And after I got fired for like the 3rd time, and you know what? I take responsibility for that. I was very hard-headed and not easy to work with. And obviously, my parents are running a business for a reason, right? There has to be a certain type of professionalism and hustle that comes behind it. If you're lacking on your hustle, then your parents are going to have that pep talk. But parents tend to have like a little bit more crazier pep talk than a regular employee would, right?
Exactly.
So I left the company. I was, I think I was charging my phone. I ended up homeless, actually. Ended up kicked out of the pad. Had a rough patch in my life. And I would go to this bar to like just charge up my phone. I met this iron worker. I don't know why somebody told me to ask him what he does for a living, because I would see him there. And he would go on his lunch breaks and eat at this bar. And I asked him, and then he's like, yeah, bro, if you're interested, go sign up. Went and signed up, and then he put a good word in for me because he knew like I was trying to get out of the mud,
Right.
trying to hustle. And when that opportunity presented itself, and I started working with the ironworkers, local 433, they weld also.
Mhm.
I welded for the first time. And then when you're part of a union, you go back to the hall once the job is done, and then put your name on the list, and they call you up when a new job comes. When that happened, the job ended, went back to the house, and was chilling at the house for like 2 weeks. My mom was like, "Hey, I kind of want to make a bench." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll make a bench."
Mm.
My mom is crazy. She's like, "Oh yeah." She started telling me how big it was, like 15 feet wide, 9 feet on each side,
Yeah.
like really aesthetically
Oh, specific. And
specific
everything.
to what she
Yeah.
wanted. And that was the first thing I ever fabricated was a bench for my mom. My family came over and said, "Oh, where'd you buy this bench?" And they're like, "Cisco made it." They're like, "What?" My uncle pulled me to the side. My uncle Joe, same one that got me into cars,
Nice.
pulled me to the side, and he was just like, "Bro, how did you make this?" And I'm like, "What don't you understand, uncle? Like, I cut the metal, I welded the metal, I painted it, and then my homie that did all my seats and everything, he made cushions for the bottom."
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so like it looks really nice. When you go over my pad, not my pad, my parents' pad, you'll see like this bench, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that's the first thing that he made." So having all these side hustles and everything, I applied that to my welding company, which my welding company kind of took off. I took the leap of faith. I opened up my shop about 7 years ago. I was in Norwalk for 6 years, and unfortunately, they raised up the rent. I was locked into a good lease. Once that lease was up, they doubled the rent.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
A lot of places I hear that they've been doing that the past few years.
I think legally it's only 30%. They can't double it.
Right.
We went to court actually.
Oh,
It was like a crazy legal battle, but you know what? We ended up handling it in mediation, so we didn't go to trial or anything like that. We went to court, got that done. I moved out and ended up here. I ended up here in Whittier, which was a blessing in disguise. Because this is zoned for more things that we want to do. If we could paint here, we could work on cars here. We don't have to really worry about the city. Where I was at, we couldn't paint. We couldn't do really anything. But besides like fabrication and small stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what like I catered to, and that's how I got money to build this car that you see, the 370Z. We went back and moved over here, and I've been here 3 months already, and it's been a humbling experience to say the least.
Yeah.
Getting all the stuff, selling things that I didn't need. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, I bet.
It's kind of tough moving. Just imagine like moving your house. But like on a bigger scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a bigger scale. And there was like about like 2 months, 3 months where we didn't have a shop. I had to figure out places for the cars. Where's this gonna go? Where's that gonna go? Where's the trailer gonna go? Like it was just a bunch of stuff, So that's the story about how I got into welding, and all the side hustles that I built up, kind of like prepared me to own my own welding company and fabrication company.
Right.
And when I went to school, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of time, but before I started my company, I went to school. My parents actually accepted me back at the house. I moved back in, swallowed my pride, and went back to school and got my certifications.
Okay.
And that's something like I want to tell people, like, don't be scared to go back to school even if you're 25. Like, don't be scared, because guess what? Later on in life, that's all going to pay off. Just like not drinking or following the masses and partying and stuff like that. Like, you could party later. If you put the hard work in now, you're not going to have a difficult time in your 30s and 40s.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, what's some advice you would give to somebody maybe wanting to get into like fabrication or anything like that and wanting to build up their own shop? Because I have a few friends that are actually going to school for like to getting their certifications and everything. But what's some advice that you'd give them maybe?
Definitely, step number one is get a mentor. Get a mentor. Start making those interpersonal relationships with people. Show up to a shop. Ask them if they need help. If it's sweeping the shop or organizing tools for the guy.
Yeah.
You know, working for free, man. I know that sounds kind of crazy, and kind of counterintuitive, but really putting yourself out there, get a mentor, make sure you have short-term goals. Long-term goals are good too, but the little wins stack up.
Yeah.
So if you lay a brick every day and you lay a brick every day and you lay a brick every day, guess what? You're going to have a brick wall eventually.
Yep.
You got one wall, then you have another wall, and then you have another wall. Then you have a house, right? Or a shop.
Yeah.
So laying a brick every day, making sure that you're getting those small wins. If you're after a specific niche, which is like fabrication or tuning or stereo systems or detailing or whatever the case might be in this car industry, and make sure that you know what the end goal is. If you know what the end goal is, then you could better prepare yourself. If you want to have a shop, it's not easy, to say the least. Having a little bit of business experience will help out too, because you're gonna have to move from a sole proprietorship to LLC or a sole prop or S corp. I'm saying from a sole prop to LLC or S corp. And S corp and LLC are two different things. It's pretty much how you pay yourself.
Right.
You know, so you have to understand what your target audience is also. So having a business plan is really key. After the fact that you do all the grunt work, go to school, have mentors, and kind of have that cushion to rely on people when you have questions, I think that's the most important thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. As far as the work side about it, making sure that you're in a good place where they allow the work to happen.
What are some goals that you have for the next few years coming up? Like whether that's for your car, and then you have the RB26 coming up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But what other goals do you have for the next few years, you would say?
So honestly, my end goal is to be a full-time tuner, right? Fabrication was great and everything, but sometimes I can't do it by myself, and I rely on other people. So what ends up happening is, if you rely on other people for the business and they don't come through for you, then you're kind of like in a crutch in a sense. So my goal is to be self-sufficient and start tuning full time. So standalone ECUs, all the way to doing stock ECUs. Getting a mentorship program, like I said, getting people set in the right direction, and getting people kind of like excited about our program that we got going on here.
Yeah. Definitely.
So obviously drifting competitively, going back to that, but tuning full time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's more of one of those things where you kind of like need to just see where you're good, like what mentally, like you're gonna be kind of in a better place.
Yeah.
And I feel tuning is ever evolving. You always have to educate yourself. I'm always thirsty for knowledge, and it's just a good place for me. Welding is awesome. Fabrication is awesome, but you have to evolve as an individual. You have to evolve as a person. You have to evolve as somebody or something that makes you excited. You know, this thing keeps me up at night. These when I have a notepad next to my nightstand.
Yeah.
And when I wake up in the middle of the night or I can't sleep, I jot down notes like, oh, this could be done better. Oh, this is actually a good idea. Look up this, or whatever the case might be. So my end goal is to tune at a high level and drift at a high level. Obviously, personal stuff. Be the greatest dad I could possibly be.
100%. Yeah.
Be the greatest friend I could possibly be. Be the greatest uncle I could possibly be. Be the greatest son. You know, pay it forward and give all that back. You know, when you get into a point in your life where you want to just give, that's a good headspace and a good place to be. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
When you're like in a good place, and that's, I think, I'm evolving now to not being so selfish and giving back. That's why I'm starting a mentorship program. That's why I'm starting all these different things in my life, so I could be mentally strong and content with my own self, and I could give that happiness to the world.
Most definitely.
You know.
Most
I would
definitely.
like to also March 3rd, we're going out to the track. Fortunately, the yellow beast behind me is not ready, but I'm going to be driving an S13 with a 2JZ, pretty much the same engine that's in that Chaser. I'm going to be driving an AVS, so I would love for you guys to come out and maybe do the rest of the interview there. You know,
Definitely.
would be awesome and stuff. But I want to show you what I'm good at
Definitely.
because it's been a long time coming, man.
Most definitely.
To say the least, it's been a long time coming, and I'm so proud of myself. One thing is too is like, don't be afraid, guys. You know, this podcast, sitting down with Pete. You know, I want to dedicate this to everybody out there with a dream. No matter what you've been in, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you're into, just understand that you have something to contribute. Everybody has their own niche, and it's okay to fail. If you're not failing, you're not trying, right? If you're not failing, you're not trying. And obviously, yeah, we got the confidence to go out to the track and do everything to try to win. But with those failures comes a lot of learning lessons, and you're gonna have to learn either the hard way or the easy way, whichever way is. Don't repeat the same mistakes, because then God's gonna put it back in your life for you to learn again. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that all these kids out here know that hard work does pay off. And if you got a dream, dream big. Don't limit yourself on, oh, I just want to make it to this, or I just want to do that. No, shoot for the stars and land on the moon. And I'm a testimony that you can make it happen. Don't give up, no matter how hard it gets. Those lessons are in your life for a reason. Don't give up. There's always the next day to pick yourself up and regroup. So if you didn't put that brick on that wall, guess what? It's cool. You're going to put that brick tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. Yeah, I mean, on that note, we do want to end off with, we like to call it the lucky final 7 question. So,
okay.
Yeah, these are the last 7 questions. We like to keep it on each episode.
Okay, cool.
So you can answer it as long as you want right here. But first question, what's your favorite part of the car community? Whether that's in the drifting community, tuning, meeting people, whatever you want. What's your favorite part?
Traveling.
Yeah.
Traveling, going to different places and meeting people and seeing how they do things. Yeah, and applying that to my program.
Yeah.
Definitely. Traveling for sure, because traveling is like, you're not from that area. Everything's new. Food is different. The way they talk is different.
What's your favorite place that you've been to?
Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that? Why is that?
Barbecue, bro.
The food.
Hey, the brisket, phenomenal. Yeah, the food and people are like, in Texas, it's like, I've seen a car crash, like a little fender bender, and they didn't even exchange information. They're like, oh, nothing happened to my car. Oh, nothing happened. That's a little scratch. I'll buff out. Hey, have a blessed day. And I'm like, what? Over here in Cali, they'll be trying to fight each other.
100%.
Yeah, they'll be trying to get down. And I'm like, man, it's really humbling. It like restores your faith in humanity. I'm like, damn, there's some humble people out here, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, over here, we're caught up in the fast life, right? We're caught up in the fast life, and it's just like, man, like everybody's in a rush and nobody cares and everybody's an asshole and a dick and just, you know, but over there it's like a slower pace of life and people are really humble and are willing to help other people, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, next question. What's your least favorite part, though, of the car community?
Oh, absolutely. People taking advantage of other people, man. People just being conniving, shops out here, people out here trying to just me. Hey, like I went back. People always go online. Hey, I need this. I need that. I need this. It's like, bro, go buy it. Go buy it. Stop being a cheap ass. Go buy it, bro.
Pretty much, right?
Right? Yeah. That's what I hate. Well, hate's a really strong word, but I want to say dislike. But yeah, I really dislike when people use their platform just for handouts. handouts and just me and very self-centered and selfish and just like that's ugly. I think.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah, most
ugly.
definitely.
And obviously taking advantage of people too,
Mhm.
especially kids out there. Watch out, man. Because like Pete said, if you're too nice, if you're too this, or you wear your heart on your shoulder, like they say,
Yeah.
you're gonna be taken advantage of.
Mhm.
You know, learn that lesson real quick.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, next question. What would you say your biggest regret in the car scene would be? If you want to tell us too.
Yeah, just getting
No.
drunk.
Yeah.
Getting drunk, getting high, you know, just because that changes my character.
Mhm.
To the people that could drink out there and smoke and be cool, that's fine. That's you. Me personally, I've dealt with a lot of issues because I wanted to escape my reality because my reality wasn't dope. People that and in the self-love, right? So
Yeah.
people that like have a dope reality, they don't want to escape it. Why would you want to escape a reality that is dope? So that's why I did the work to instill the worth. You have to do the work to instill the worth. What I did was take a step back, got rid of my vices. I'm 100%. I call it supersonic sober. I'm supersonic sober now.
Good.
And yeah, like, you know, getting drunk and high at the track or getting drunk and high at the shop and allowing that type of behavior to kind of plague my life. And the quicker that you understand that that's not cool and it's not going to get you anywhere but into trouble,
Mhm.
that's when you can start making changes. So watch out for those patterns because your habits got to correlate to your future success. If your habits don't correlate to your future success, then you got it all messed up, man. Damn, buddy, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna go through the 10 years I went through, which I don't wish on anybody.
Mhm.
Be lost, be confused, be mad at people and the world, and you're gonna have this life game all messed up. You know, because
Yeah.
the game of life is not one to be messing with. It's your life.
Mhm.
It's your life, and if you screw up and kill somebody out on these streets with the car, you're gonna go to jail for life. There's no question about it. The DA will press charges and get you for reckless driving and all this other charges, and you're gonna be doing. I know people that has happened to.
Mhm.
You know, one of my dad's employees. Quick story. One of my dad's employees. He's no longer with us. He passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. But his son is doing life in jail. In Almani, they were street racing, and he slammed into a minivan with kids and the mom. Killed all of them.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's heavy, right? If he was not negligent and he was not on point and had a mentor, he wouldn't be doing that
Mhm.
stuff. He paid with his life. So just because you're not gangbanging, just because you're not doing this or doing that, like these streets are unforgiving.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
people don't understand when you're on the streets, you gotta conduct yourself in a certain manner. You know, you gotta understand that there's consequences to this game.
Mhm.
The consequences are heavy, and you're gonna pay with your life.
But yeah, I mean, next question would be, I mean, do you have like any controversial car opinions, would you say? Controversial, I mean, like, I'll give you an example. Like, mine is like, I don't agree with the terms of like fake wheels, real wheels, and everything like that. Something like that. You have anything?
Oh, if you have reps,
Yeah.
or like, yeah. I had to point to them. I'm just like, those bolts are real. Those bolts are
Exactly.
actually bolted onto the lip of the car. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason why I don't agree with it. I mean, but I mean, if you have any different ones, maybe.
Kind of want to correlate it with drifting. I don't. I want to say I don't agree with like. That's a good one, man. That's actually a
Take
good
your
one.
time right there.
No, because there's a few going through my head right now. There's like a few that I could like tap into.
Whichever one you get.
I think that the opinion that we touch bases on like gatekeeping,
Mhm.
people coming back that are professional drivers and competing with like pro-am drivers and pro D drivers, just like you, I don't feel like there's a difference. I feel like there's if you're going to be at that stage, right? If you're going to be on that level, you have to prepare yourself to be on that level.
Yeah.
If you're not, then tone it back a level, or tone it back a notch, and do the grassroots stuff more, and get your money up. Get your money up, run it up, and build a car that will compete. If you don't got the driving skills, then just put a V8, right? Also, the V8 thing, I think that's one thing, right? The second part to your question is the V8 controversy.
Yeah.
Going what the spirit of drifting is to just putting a big high horsepower car. I'm not mad at anybody, or I don't have really a specific opinion. A power plant's a power plant, right? But with drifting, there's a lot of different other factors that goes along with it. Suspension setup is one of them. And if you don't have all these key recipes, you're not going to be successful. I don't care how much power you have. You can have 1,000,000 horsepower. You're still not going to put it to the ground. Remember, all that horsepower, you got to some way, somehow put it to the ground. So either grip up the car or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's where all this car control comes. And not only car control, but setting up the car with your team and making sure that your team understands what driving style you have. But yeah, gripping up the car. Another thing that's controversial is tire regulations and competitive drifting.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So prime example, FD, right? Formula Drift. They have all these rules into place to make it a fair playing field for everybody.
Right.
I've seen Adam LZ do clutch kickers. Fortunately, clutch kickers is not around anymore. But everybody was wondering, it's like, oh man, how's he so good at clutch kickers but not succeeding in FD? I always told people, I was like, bro, just give him some time. Give him some time to get with the crew. Give him some time because obviously clutch kickers, I mean, he put $1,000 tires in the back, gripped up the car, and started walking fools on clutch kickers. Because, he got the budget for some gangster-ass tires. You know what I mean? And he just gripped up the car and was just killing it. That's why he won. With FD, it's a little bit more different. All this stuff that I just talked about, where the crew, the car, the driver needs to give feedback to the crew. Crew needs to make adjustments accordingly.
Yep.
Now you see Adam excelling as a driver because that special recipe is becoming a reality. All those changes that he's made has really made a difference. And look at, he's podium now. He already has a podium underneath his belt. Mm-hmm. He's a force to be reckoned with. And just because you're a YouTuber or whatever and you have a social, that doesn't mean anything. The guy has a good work ethic. The guy is out there to compete at a high level. I think he went into Drift Masters, right?
That I'm not too sure about.
I think I seen his car in Drift Masters in one of the rounds. Yeah. I was excited for him, dude. I was like, oh, okay. That's what we're doing? Okay, cool. Take my dream real quick. Nah, he's not taking no dream. I'm gonna be there right with him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would say I would say those those three things and stuff like that.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
What's that?
Besides the wheel thing, what else do you find like kind of annoying about the car community?
Me?
And meets and all that stuff.
I mean, it goes hand in hand with like for meets wise, it's like people that go to meets and try to ruin it for everybody else too. Like they go to parking shows, they rev it and everything like that too. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, and it just ruins, in my opinion, it ruins the car community right there too.
So like when somebody goes up and like that starts doing a burnout or donuts,
exactly,
and burns off the spot.
The thing is, if one person does it, then someone else is gonna do it, and then it just starts a whole thing right there.
Yeah,
and that's what I don't like. That's probably one of my biggest right there too.
And to be honest with you, I think they're gonna start crushing cars again. Remember, like in the 2000s when the Honda stuff was really up there, people were drag racing. Mm-hmm. CHP was yanking cars and crushing them. So watch out for that, man. Like all these bad apples that are ruining it for everybody, like you're just gonna ruin it for yourself too. Because guess what? If you're doing that stuff, I mean, it's just gonna be bad. Because not only is your car gonna be gone, but all that money and time, it's gonna be for nothing.
Yep.
The same thing that I said about showing up to the track and not taking it serious or whatever. It's like you're doing it all for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you're out there to do that. You know, to each his own, right?
Yeah, I mean, one thing too is like the I mean, I would want to get your opinion too. How do you feel about like takeovers? Because I know some people like keep it on the track. Sure, like don't do it on the streets. Go to the track, do it
Right.
like that. But how do you feel about takeovers like that too?
Okay, this is gonna be a little controversial.
Well, we're on the topic, so
yeah, and I kind of knew that this was gonna come up. Honestly, I got no opinion about it, but from a guy that drifted on the streets and kind of honed in onto my skill from the streets, I can't knock it.
Yeah.
I can't knock it. There's gonna be some guys that come out of the streets that maybe see this interview and say, damn, Cisco did it. Man, maybe if I start taking this serious, maybe I could go into a turn at 60, 70 miles per hour, because that's ultimately good car control. Yeah, man, it's a party. You know, takeovers, I look at it like a rowdy party, like in every intersection. Like it's kind of cool in a sense, but it's not cool because it's putting a bad light into the car community.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, when you focus on the bad instead of the good, that's when it gets kind of mixed up and everything like that. But it's a straight up party. People want to go out there and just party. You know, and when you're young, you just want to go out there and just party, kick it with the homies, kick it with your girl, and have a good time.
Yeah.
Like that's all these people want to do is have a good time. And like I said, it's all those bad apples that do something dumb, do something to mess it up for everybody. Just like the raves here, remember? Like they used to rent out the Coliseum and everything, and we had like EDC here. Dude, everybody selling drugs. They ruined it for everybody.
Right.
The same thing is like there's only a little bit of group of people that ruin it for everybody. I bet you if not all the negative stuff that has been publicized with the takeover stuff would be cool and people will allow it. And people will be like, man, that's kind of cool, you know? But I think for like anybody that's involved in that scene is like, if you love it so much, let's see how gangster you are going into a turn at 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or in third gear fully pinned. Whenever I show people how to drift is that's the first thing. You do donuts. Counterclockwise and then clockwise. Then you start moving on to figure eight, figuring out weight transition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in a sense, that's like you have to have car control. And you can't knock it just because it's in the streets. Like you can't knock it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people are not going to disagree with me or whatever. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Just like with all the comments that are going to come saying wooty woo wooty wop and this and that and da 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 da. Nah, man, it's a party. Everybody wants to have a good time. That's what we go out there for. And I came from the streets. I drifted on the streets. So, bro, like I would be a hypocrite if I would be against it, or I would say, oh, fuck that, and this and that, like, oh my God, I can't believe, and this and that. Nah, bro, like it is what it is, you know? Was the option videos we saw back in the day with them going on a tailgate, aka a mountain pass, and just drifting out in the mountain pass.
Yeah.
Like, did we say that? Nah, because there was no negative light in that. There's negative light because there's a couple bad apples out there that just ruin it for everybody. As far as it being a party and a show, hey man, it's a party and a show, bro. You know what I'm saying? For sure, for sure.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I feel like there is a time and place to do it on the streets.
Yeah.
Like there's this one guy that we just interviewed with a drift truck.
Okay.
He just does it on the streets, like when no one's around, like early in the morning, later at night.
Right.
So I can see where you're coming from, but I just think there's a time and place to do that too.
So one thing okay, so if you're blocking an intersection, right, and somebody's dying in an ambulance and they need to get through, like, okay, I get it. Like, I can see the point of view.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But if there's like somewhere safe where it could happen, then yes, so be it. It's just so materialized to happen where they shut down the whole intersection and everything like that. And yeah, I get it. Like if somebody's dying in the back of an ambulance and the ambulance can't make it through, or they have to take a longer route and the guy dies on that longer route, then yeah, it's messed up, bro.
Yeah.
That's hella messed up, you know? But yeah, time and place, right?
Yeah,
just with anything in life.
Well, last two questions. Let's just go with what's your dream car?
GTR.
Maybe which one? Or GTR?
Woo!
All of them?
The trilogy.
Yeah.
R32, R33, and R34.
Okay.
I think I'm going to work very hard to get one of them.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. They all have good qualities. The R34 is really famous just because of everything that car has. It has an aura right around
Yeah.
it. The 33 looks like a beast.
Mhm.
The 32 is the lightest one and is the Godzilla for a reason.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind each and every one of them. Even an R35, I mean, it's a Skyline at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The engineering that goes behind those cars is amazing.
Mhm.
And there's a reason why I'm putting a 26. People don't understand this. It's like, oh, you got a RB26 in that Skyline, and it's like, or a GTR, and I'm like, bro, the 26 came in all three.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Something unique to GTRs is all-wheel drive and four-wheel steering. Did you know that?
I did know the all-wheel drive. I didn't know the all-wheel steering.
Yeah. So it has a steering rack in the rear,
Really?
which moves the wheels to corner better. Yeah. Yeah. That's how you know it's a real GTR. So for sure, one of the GTRs is gonna be the crown jewel of my collection.
Most definitely.
I kind of explained to you guys earlier that I'm down to 1,240 in my competition car in the truck and trailer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of meant for a reason. I don't need 1,000 projects, right? I just need one comp car, one streetable car that's fun, and then one GTR R3 or 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just, and two, like, it's an investment too. Like, cars are an investment. You could always go back and sell it and get more money for it. It's only going to grow. Like, these G's are going to slowly but surely get more rare to find.
Mhm.
And then there's going to be another chassis that takes its place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
agree.
Maybe I see it. I don't know. What do you see a lot of right now? Like FRSs?
Yeah. FRSs, the BRZs, all those.
I think that might be the next chassis, bro.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot of them out there and a lot of support, right, in the
Yeah.
aftermarket community.
Easy access for everything right there.
Yeah, you're gonna once you start seeing that car more accessible in the junkyard, that's when you know it's like, oh, this is the next 240.
Yep.
This is the next G, bro.
Pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, GTR for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's my next tattoo, guys. GTR tat.
Yeah.
Nismo tat and a GTR tat.
Okay.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, last question. What's some advice you'd give to somebody trying to get into cars? Whether they're just listening or anybody, anywhere. Some advice?
Yeah, don't be scared to just get your first car. Like me, I got an RX-7. I'm not a rotary guy. I wasn't a rotary guy, but I appreciate that car, and it taught me a lot of things. So just because like you like have a specific car in mind, it doesn't have to be a GTR. It could be a 240, it could be a G35, just as long as you got some wheels to pick up the girl, right?
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to pull the trigger, get your first car, start getting into modding it a little bit, and then like sell it for some more money, make some profit, make a business out of it, right? Hustle, hustle, and then start moving on to what you really want. Everybody gets their own little niche, just like we were talking about earlier. Like everybody has their own niche.
Mhm.
And I think that when you find your niche, then just stick to it. If it's VIP, if it's drifting, if it's drag racing, if it's grip driving, I mean, just stick to the script,
Mhm.
And nobody can answer that question but yourself. You have all the answers inside of yourself. If you take time to really think and like kind of like take time and really soul search, you're going to know what the answer is.
Yeah.
You don't got to ask 1,000 people for their opinion.
Mhm.
It just doesn't happen that way. You have to kind of just like sit back and just like, okay, cool. Like I got a G right now, but I want a Skyline. So set some goals to get a Skyline.
Yep.
It's going to be hard. You're going to have to sacrifice, but once you get that Skyline, guess what? You got your dream car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So biggest advice is just get a car, get a car, flip it for more money, and then start building up like I did,
Okay.
It definitely doesn't happen overnight, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
What was your first car, Pete?
This car,
No way.
it's my first car. I've had it for like 5 years.
No way.
Yep.
So you've had this car for 5 years?
Yep. It's my first car.
So
I
it's your
love
daily, it's your build, it's...
Mhm.
Okay.
it. Yeah, I'm attached to this thing. I love this thing. I mean, when I first got the car, I wasn't too much into cars.
Yeah, right.
But slowly but surely, I found like YouTube and everything. And then slowly, I started modifying my car a little bit here
Nice.
and there, and now it's to where it is today.
Would you ever sell it?
I don't think so, honestly.
Okay.
I've thought about it. Like, sure, it's broken on me. I rage, put it on OfferUp, you know. I've raged like that, but I've had offers on it, but I can't. I don't
Right.
know. I'm just attached to this thing, so
You're kind of like you're kind of like me with the yellow car. Like I never see myself selling that thing, man.
yeah.
Just because I've cried on that car, man, underneath the helmet. Like
Pretty much.
I've cried, man, because there's been so much accomplishments and so much things that you go through with a chassis.
Yep.
And I dailied the Z, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I dailied that thing. As soon as I started getting more serious and stripped it, oh man, it felt like a 240. Tunnel getting hot, everything's rattling.
Oh,
like
no.
I was like, what did I do? It has such a good interior.
That's funny.
But you know, obviously that the car had plans
Mhm.
for me, and I had cars for the plan too.
It was
So just
definitely-
as much as like it's a mechanical thing, it has a kind of like a spirit aura, I want to say.
yeah,
So yeah, you kind of get attached. Like it's weird, right?
it really is. I don't know. You just have so many experience in cars right there, but
Like situations and like
Yeah.
like circumstances. You're never gonna forget when it broke down,
Exactly.
right? And it left you
Exactly.
stranded.
you know,
What's your biggest memory about that car? Okay,
I don't-
bad memory and good memory. Let's do it.
that's a tough
I'll
one.
give you that for mine. I'm gonna start asking you questions, my boy.
I mean, best memory with it. That's a tough one. I don't really know. I could tell you worst.
Did you meet your girl in it?
I did. Yeah.
I think that would have to be number one, my boy. Off top.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Let me answer it for you.
Well, worst it was
Yeah.
when the camshaft sensor was going out. I don't know. I don't know where I was. I was visiting some family, and then I had to drive home, and all of a sudden it started sputtering out.
Oh yeah. VQs do that.
Yeah, and then we're driving home when I lived in El Segundo. Right there's a lot of hills.
Okay.
So what we did, we were driving up the hill,
Yeah.
and then when we were going downhill, we would just turn it off, put it in neutral, to just cruise it all the way home. It was just scary, but eventually we got it home and we fixed it, and yeah.
Yeah. How'd you know it was the camshaft sensor? You put a OPG.
Yeah.
You read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those when I had one, I would carry that in my little toolbox in the back of the trunk,
Yeah.
just in case. That and the cam,
Mhm.
crank and cam sensor on those go bad. And try to get the OE ones because the ones off AutoZone don't really work that well. They do and they don't. It's a hit and miss and stuff.
Yeah, most definitely.
For me, I would say the worst memory, I think, would be, man. So, I was dating this girl, right? And the date was going good, right? And then you know, like when you take off the steering wheel so they don't steal the car.
Yeah.
It was going good until this point. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings or whatever.
Mhm.
And I took off the steering wheel, and she's like, "Why are you taking off the steering wheel and stuff?" And I'm like, "Girl, because I don't want it to get stolen." And she's like, "You just want attention. Like, you just want people to know you have a good car and stuff." And I'm like, "Man, stop it. Stop it. If they don't have a wheel, they can't drive the car, you know?" So we go in, there's a long line, and mind you, it's like a date. So like I'm dressed up, she's dressed up, and the wait was like an hour and a half, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna sit here and just talk about nothing with her. Like I'll wait until we sit down and have like a good I don't know. I felt weird. So we go back in the car, and I take her to this burrito spot on Azusa. It's called a Boca de Rio. I don't know if you ever had it.
No.
They put like cabbage in the burrito, and it's like really like fat. So I kind of did a low key date, but I guess she didn't like that either.
Oh no.
And so it kind of just no, it gets worse. It gets worse. That was just the date aspect of things, right? So she was just like, "Oh, just drop me off." I had other plans. I was like, "Oh, let's go get boba or let's go somewhere else." Nah, she was after the burrito. She was like, "Man, this guy's cheap or something." So I take her back to her house, and on the way to her house, like I'm trying to like keep the conversation going, and she's not having it because she like in her head she's like, oh man, this guy's cheap or whatever, right? Or that's what I'm assuming she's thinking.
Yeah.
And then the car starts smoking.
Oh.
Yeah. But then I'm smelling it. And I'm like, there's a distinctive smell from oil to actually like coolant.
Yeah.
Coolant is like a sweeter type of smell,
Mm-hmm.
and oil, it just smells like burnt oil, you know? So I'm starting hearing, like, I'm starting smelling this, and she's like, oh my God, your car, and this and this and that. I'm like, girl, it's a drift car. Get used to it. Like, trying to clap back at her, you know, because she's popping off with the attitude and stuff. And then, so I'm driving it, and then finally, I drop her off home. And then, yeah, man, the car started smoking more, and it started smoking more. And I stopped on 7th and Temple. There's a 76 right there.
Okay. Yeah.
I stopped right there. And mind you, I dailied the car, right? I was dailying it. One of my guys at the shop he did the oil change, left the oil bolt loose.
Oh, no.
It vibrated out of place and came completely off.
Oh, wow.
So that smoking was that residual oil just,
Right.
it was all over the pan everywhere. And when I stopped at the 76, it just, whatever was left on the head, it just drained out.
Oh, no.
And called AAA. And if you guys know about AAA, like, they're not going to tow your car if it has oil all over it. They're not going to tow your car if it's too low to the ground. You're going to have to, like, finesse the guy. Like, hey, bro, I'll give you some money. Or, hey, bro, I'm not going to complain or whatever. So I had to get like a random guy on OfferUp that towed vehicles just to get my stuff home. It was a horrible day. It was a horrible date. It was the car almost blew up.
Yeah.
The car almost blew up because it had no oil. And so like that was like really like the bad memory. The best memory I think was doing my first competition. And unfortunately at that time my parents couldn't make it out. Nobody was there besides me and my team. And I literally shed tears when we passed tech. And I was all geared up. And I was waiting. I was seeing everybody in practice start swinging it and sliding and everything. I'm waiting in line. And I think I bowed my head and I just thank God. I was just like, thank you, God, for giving me this. I was very grateful for where I was at. And it was very surreal. I was like, man, I passed tech. Now it's time to go get my license and really qualify and turn it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Turn up and turn out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the best memory. And although like my family wasn't there, Pete, like I felt everybody in the car. It's a weird feeling. Like I cannot describe it. I felt like my aunt that passed away, my grandma recently passed away. Like I felt them in the car. I felt my parents in the car. I felt my children in there. Like I felt everybody in the car. Like just have my back.
Yeah.
Like just this spiritual awakening in the car, and I couldn't help it, man. I was tearing up, and then I pulled up to the line, and I saw the guy just go ahead, send it. And I go out and just rip, dude. I'm flying, bro.
Yeah.
Third gear, flying, pulling the e-brake, smelling the smoke, like getting close to the wall, having that gangster lean when I'm looking, just like, tilting my head and whatnot. I think that was like the best memory, man. And to this day, like, it's one of the memories where like all the odds were against us. We didn't know if the car was gonna pass tech, and we didn't know that if we could qualify or not. And man, I just gave it all I got, and it spoke, the hard work spoke for itself.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, when could we see you back driving competitively?
So, Original Autos taking care of the engine stuff for me. Like I said, shout out to Adam, Chewy, and Pablo, most importantly. Top Rank is helping out also. SoCal Nitrous and Fuels, VP Racing Fuels. I believe it's called Hive. It was Crown Carbon before. Shout out to Harvey. Part Shop Max, Dan, Tommy, everybody, suspension-wise. Obviously, Charles from Track Shocks is helping out, jumping on board. Vault Pro USA, Tony Darling has been an incredible mentor also and has helped out with the program. And Andy's Tires, shout out to Andy and Drew. You guys are amazing, man. It's a father-son duo. Like I used to work for my father, so I know how difficult that is. But they have such a good relationship. And shout out to Andy, man. He's always helped the community. If you don't know who he is, he's always humble. He's always throwing an event. He is there to serve the car community, man. He drifts himself. He has an FC, like my first car. So, and I think Drew has an S15, and they kill it, man. And yeah, shout out to them. As soon as all these pieces get back together, such as drivetrain, is when you're gonna see me out. So expect 2024, about fall, I want to say. So thinking winter jam would be on my list to take out the car this year.
Okay.
I'm giving myself a couple months
Yeah.
because I'm not trying to rush, and obviously I'm tuning full time now. So I don't want to rush it, and unforeseen circumstances happen in life, just like with anything, bro.
Yep.
But I'm gonna be out there testing and tuning. I'm gonna be out there doing what I gotta do to better be prepared for what's coming up. And I'm gonna be running you guys' door down. If you're in front, I don't care if you're a beginner. I don't care if you're a Pro 1 driver. I'm gonna be running it down, bro. That's just how I do. So I'm really gonna make sure that the car's on point.
Most definitely.
And make sure that we're out there by this fall of this year. So expect the Z to have the 26 in there, ready to go, tuned up, and ready to show out and give a show to these people.
Cool.
Obviously, open wastegate. We call it Project Cheesegate. It ain't easy being cheesy. So give the people what they want, man. Give them a good show. Give them my driving style, my tenacity behind the wheel, my aggression. I'm a really aggressive driver, and I like to really get close to walls, get close to people, proximity, remind people I'm there.
Yeah.
You know, remind people I'm there, and like that's what it is, man. That's what my style is, and I'm not gonna turn back or make anything different than I already have. I'm excited to bring out the car again, with such a vengeance to compete, you know. And I didn't know what my mentor meant before about like getting stuck in that dimension.
Right.
And I just want to get stuck in that dimension again. I want to get stuck in what it is to compete. Obviously have fun, right?
Yeah.
But go run everybody down. Harass people, you know? Hey, bump. Hey, dog, don't flop. Because if you flop, I'm going to talk shit. So just, I want to be more aggressive.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that the car can handle it. You can see like the frame rail's kind of bent. We got to address that. Headlights messed up. It's because I hit people, you know? And that's a great thing about drifting is like you could hit somebody and yeah, you fix your stuff, I'm going to fix mine. All right, have a good day. Some people make out better than others, but that's our sport, you know? And if you're not aggressively driving, then you're not going to create a following. You're not going to create, people are not going to be fans of you because it's like, he's just pussyfooting it. He's not aggressive enough. And drifting, you got to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with saying the things I'm saying because people want to see that. It's a show at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, people want to see a good show. People want to pay for the good show. You know what I mean? So being aggressive and pushing the limits of the car and as a driver that's what I'm bringing to the table. I'm not bringing nothing less. The energy I'm bringing is real genuine and it's from a good space, Pete, you know? So that's what you could expect from me and that's what you could expect from the car, you know?
Okay. Most definitely. Well, we're excited to see the future for you. I'm excited to see.
Sure.
But where could the people find you at? On Instagram or?
Instagram and TikTok, Cisco Skids, Cisco, CISCO _SKIDS. I'm the only one, I believe, with skids. Everybody's like something drift, Chile drifts, or whatever the case might be, or whatever. Yeah, I think skating is like just a little terminology that me and my team came up with, and Cisco Skids like really just like stuck. So you can find me on those platforms. I'm not on YouTube, unfortunately, but I'm on my homies' YouTubes. I make special guest appearances.
For sure.
You know, but I'm only on TikTok and Instagram right now.
Sounds good.
As far as tuning wise, if you want to get your car tuned or be part of the mentorship program that I'm coming with, there's going to be a link in my bio coming up pretty soon with the website. And that website, you could directly contact me on there and be part of the mentorship program that I'm creating. And if you need your car tuned, obviously I tune a lot of different platforms now, not just G's and Z's. And I would appreciate all the love and support for sure.
Sounds good. I mean, any other shout outs you want to give maybe? I know you did a few earlier, but...
You know what, man? Shout out to that kid that has a dream, man. Shout out to that kid that has a dream. You know, don't give up, bro. Everything's going to be fine. And you know what? Just don't be afraid of hard work. Don't be afraid of hard work. It takes hard work to get here. And if I can motivate anybody, it would be my kids, you know, most definitely. I want them to see this and really say, man, daddy went through a lot, man. And obviously being a good role model for them and making sure that, you know, people, not just my kids, but other people looking at this, you get motivated in a sense, you know.
Yeah.
This is dedicated to everybody out there with the dream, man.
Mhm.
And you know, don't be selfish, because what you give is what you get.
Yep.
You know.
Well, on that note, thank you, Cisco, for being our guest today. We appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you, bro.
But yeah, that was today's episode of the Dare to Drive podcast. So thank you guys for listening. This was Pete and Cisco right here.
RB.
So, see you guys on the next one.